I'll start with a quick review for this book, Why Sex is Fun. I'll give this book 4 out of 5. I almost give it a 5. Very interesting. I like that it's short, compact, a lot full of information. The author doesn't leave you bored. A lot of information, very packed. And interesting data, very interesting data. Some of it is a little controversial, I'm sure, but I really appreciate the writing. It has some humor, a little bit here and there. Very well written. Overall, I really enjoyed the book, and it's a good overview of sex. So I would recommend. Let's see the notes. Humans differ in their sexuality by having concealed fertility, having sex in private, sex for fun, and more. That's the difference between humans to animals. Other animals having sex in private, concealed fertility, concealed ovulation, having sex for fun. But obviously there is some other animals that exhibit this type of behaviors, but we are very different in that. Some male spiders get eaten during sex to provide nutrients in sperm. It's worth it for them, as they are not meeting many females at all. Very interesting situation going on. They're basically getting eaten. And when you ask evolutionary wise, why would it be beneficial for them to reproduce that way? And the answer is that they live a very solitary life. And it's worth for them to, in a way, sacrifice themselves to pass their genes on, because without it, the female would not have enough nutrients. Both parents have an incentive to pursue other mates while leaving the work of protection to the other. Females tend to stay, but it's not across the spectrum. So, evolutionary wise, both sides, both parents have an incentive to leave the other with all the work. But usually, it's not across the spectrum, obviously, but females usually tend to get stuck in a way with the work. Human males have an incentive to look for other mates, as it's cheap for them to mate, while the same is not true for females due to pregnancy. So human males have more of an incentive to pursue other mates because they spend less for reproduction, but the same is not true for females because they get impregnant, they have pregnancy. Lactation is rarely found in males, but most of the hardware is there. There is at least humans don't have lactation in males, but we have the hardware. Most of the hardware is there. In some species, the male can also lactate. Only about 10% of species exhibit parental care, mostly to fend off predators and competition. So it's only about 10% of all species are actually sticking around. The reason they do stick around is to fend off predators or competition. According to one theory, humans engage in sex even when not ovulating, to keep males around to help them grow kids. Because there's the question why human started to, or evolution created concealed ovulation. So one of the theories is that we engage in sex even when there is no ovulation, to keep men around, because if they're not, when they don't know when the female is ovulating, they're more likely to stay around, help grow the kids, because they're kind of around. They're around. Hopefully that makes sense. Humans are distinct with their concealed ovulation. It does not shown much around in other animals. According to one theory, concealed ovulation is good to keep males around since they don't know when is a good time. So that's Similar idea. They don't know when is a good time, so they're gonna keep staying and to try to impregnate the female. According to another theory, concealed ovulation created to deceive men about who is the father, and by that avoid infanticide and help nourishing. So that's another theory why there is concealed ovulation. To deceive men, they don't know who is the father, so therefore they're not going to kill the child, which happens in some animal species, and also to help nourish them because they think it's theirs. It seems that concealed ovulation started as a consequence of having multiple partners and then lingered on to monogamy as they help grow children. So this is how it started. Concealed ovulation as a consequence of having multiple partners. So they don't know who and what. There's those two theories. But then linger on to monogamy because they do help. Monogamy helps grow kids. Men who hunt big animals had more meat in reputation, even considering the average lower calories provided. So he goes through all the benefits of who's getting more, because apparently those who hunt big animals on average provide less calories than those who are picking up fruits and things like that. Gatherers. But overall, they do have, even though they provide less calories, they do have better reputation, which is interesting. Sex is fun due to concealed ovulation. That's I would say one of the main ideas is about concealed ovulation. It's repeated across the book, but the main idea is also that the main reason why sex is fun is because of concealed ovulation. Similar to a car, our body has a limited lifespan. After a while, the cost of repair is too great, which wasn't beneficial evolutionary wise. That's why our body kind of deteriorate over time, because the same thing with car, just the cost of repair isn't worth it anymore. The same thing is our body falls apart, some parts. It says also menopause could be the same reason, because after a little while it just doesn't worth it, so some things are getting out. Ford sent employees to check what part of the cars were worn out. Upon knowing that only one part was not worn, he said that part was overbuilt. Very, very interesting situation happened there. So Ford sent an employees to check which part was worn more or less. They came back and they said that all of them were worn out except of one, which is really great. They were really happy about it. However, he said that that part was overbuilt and we should not overbuild it anymore. Very interesting insight about also counterintuitive reaction from Ford behalf. Menopause is useful as childbirth is dangerous, and grandmother help grow kids. Both are evolutionary beneficial. So why is menopause? What could be the evolutionary benefits of menopause? Is that childbirth is dangerous. So after a little while, you would want to eliminate that, because if you keep gonna have it, you're more likely to die. And also grandmothers help grow the kids, so it's another reason to have them around. Older people were also used as library. Women were at higher risk of dying thanks to childbirth, if not for menopause. So older people in general, one of the uses of older people are as a library. People used to ask them, they used to know a lot of things, and go ask them for which food is good or for which not, and all kinds of questions they had. And women specifically were at higher risk, if not of childbirth, if not for menopause. Animals exhibit a variety of signals to avoid fighting, which would be costly for both sides. So that's usually they have they make all kinds of noises, or they have bigger parts of different bodies. They make all kinds of things to signal dominance in a way, because neither side ideally doesn't want to get into a fight because it's costly usually for both sides. The peacock tail is either showing I'm so strong that I can afford unnecessary things, or it's actually beneficial for survival. There's two theories about it. Depends on the theory. So one theory says I can afford it. The other theory says it's actually beneficial because they have the reasoning, I forgot, but there is two theories. Human signals are muscular structure in men, which shows dominance and nutrient stability, and fat deposits in women, which shows good nutritional background also for lactation. That's the human signals. The signals of men is masculine, like muscular structure, usually show dominance and nutrient ability because they have enough. Women, it also usually it's about nutrition or fat deposits, which is also good nutritional background and good background for lactation. Large breasts are often indicative of good nutrition and lactation, while large buttocks shows good nutrition and large birth canal. It does says that there is some caveats for this, but the idea is that large breasts are usually it's mostly fat, so it shows good nutrition background and lactation, good lactation abilities, and large buttocks is also nutrition because there is also fats, but it also shows large birth canal, which makes it less likely for the baby to have birth defects. That's it for the notes. There's quite a few notes, short book, but again, there is very packed with information, very well written. I would recommend. Thank you.